Guys and girls, today we're working on the T5 again. We've got a suspension kit. Big shout out to maxpeedingrods, supporters of the channel, really appreciate you. We've got some coilovers. We did fit some new suspension, Bilstein front shocks and some rear springs, and we're happy with how it drives, but we want to get it a bit more lower. We've got a suspension kit. You already know what's going on. Let's get into it. If you're a new viewer, I am not very good at opening cardboard boxes. I make an absolute mess. Now, the only way to open a cardboard box is with a chainsaw. If you're not opening your boxes with a chainsaw, what are you even doing? I think I remember how to work it. It hasn't got a pumper. Oh yeah. Chainsaw does make a bit of a mess. I have another tool if you don't want to make a mess. We obviously don't have a knife or any fresh blades in the workshop. So if you don't want to make a mess, use a disc cutter. They're the only two ways to open a box. Now, if you're thinking, yeah, don't mind the look of the coilover kit, maxpeedingrods, I did fit a set onto my VW Caddy and it drives amazing. I was expecting it to be really low, really firm, horrible to drive. Fitted a set on the Caddy, absolute winner. Got a set for the T5. If you would like a discount code, go to maxpeedingrods website. They sell all sorts. DTE TV as the voucher, you get 10% off. Oh yeah. Made a mess, don't know why. Sweet. So we've obviously got keys for adjustments. We've got a little book. Maxpeedingrods history. Oh, have a look at that. Cup of tea. Instructions. These are very important, so make sure you read them. Keys, we've seen those. We've got adjuster Dewberry Firkins for the rears to raise or lower. Got a dent in that one. No, just kidding. Springs for the rear. They're chunky. Springs for the front. Everything is nicely wrapped and packaged. That's always a good start. A good sign. It's a good start. We've got shocks for once I can get into it. Shocks for the front. Another shock for the front. We don't need to open two. Shocks for the rear. Oh, very nice. Comes with the dust guards, bump stops, everything. Yeah, happy days. So if you are a regular subscriber, a regular viewer of the channel, you have seen this shot a gazillion times recently. T5 up on the ramp, working on the front, working on the back. I'm going to keep it as short and sweet as possible because I'm a little bit, it's got a bit long in the tooth working on the same things on the van. So for you regular viewers, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. And if you're swooping in to check out the suspension kit and fitting, I'm going to keep it short for you. So you better subscribe. Where do we start? I've got it up in the air. We've got the front up in the air. I've got the wipers and the scuttle panel out because there is a nut you need to undo there. On both sides, but we're not going to undo that yet. We're straight in the wheel arch. We're going to take the whole hub assembly off. I like to take the whole hub assembly off. You can do it just by undoing the pinch bolt and lowering it down, but that way everything gets a bit tight, it gets a bit graunchy. So I undo the whole lot and drop the hub out the way. Caliper off, drive shaft nut, pinch bolts, bottom ball joint, hose and sensor out the way, drop it down, stick the new one in, let's get it. You might tell how short the time lapse was. It took me less than 10 minutes to take it apart. I mentioned in all previous videos, if your suspension, anything you're taking apart doesn't come apart as easy as mine, I do apologise. I've already rebuilt this van 10 times like Trigger's broom. Everything is new, and when I take things apart, I'll wire wheel the bolts, I'll put a bit of grease on them so everything comes apart nice and easy. It's not one of them YouTube videos, simply remove bolt and your bolt looks like it's come from the Titanic. Mine have already been apart. Anyway, got the shocks, got the old ones, Bilsteins. We've got Euro car parts, lowering springs. They do a good job, they ride nice. But I want to see it a bit lower, so we've got a coilover kit. And just quickly, actually, it was my birthday yesterday. Thank you to everyone that commented on my post. Really appreciate that. And I mentioned in a suspension video a few weeks ago, because I didn't fit these long ago, I mentioned that I wasn't posh enough to have a Milwaukee impact ratchet. Subscriber, viewer, friend of the channel, my man Philip, he bought me this hat. He also got me the Makita gun. He sent this for my birthday, Milwaukee impact ratchet. There is no words, well there is, thank you, but words don't seem enough to show my gratitude and appreciation for you guys that support the channel. So yeah, thank you, and big shout out to Philip, thank you very much, really appreciate that. This is absolutely awesome bit of kit. Milwaukee impact ratchet, it's got adjustable settings and doodads and whatnots, absolutely brilliant. Gets in the tight areas and impacts them off, absolutely brilliant. Anyway, to the suspension, enough rambling, enough waffling. With coilover kits, you might have seen on posts on the Tinterweb, these threads, they get corroded, you can't adjust them after 5 minutes. I put a little bit of copper grease all the way over the thread. That way, if you need to adjust them 5 minutes down the line, you're going to be able to move them. And of course, you guys want to see how low the coilovers go. Obviously, you can adjust the height after, but for you guys at home, we're going to the lowest setting. Hopefully it's not too low, because the road out here is quite bumpy. Might have to like to get it out, but for your viewing pleasure, we're going on the deck. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you've ever played with suspension, you've got your shock absorber, we've locked off the lock nuts, we've got the damper and the dust shield. I believe this is a front spring. It's quite skimpy for a front spring, but we're going to find out how springy it is. That is that. Okay, so I do need the top mount off of the old one. Is that a 21? Is that a 22? How brilliant is that tool? So we need the top mount off this. These were replaced in the last video. Straight off, simple as that. Now, what does that fit inside there? What we got going on here? Okay, need one more piece, nearly. We got the bearings. Thank you very much. He sits in there. Okay, so he sits on the bearing. Of course he does. I knew that, I was just testing you guys at home. Oh, the whole world's falling apart. So let's get the bearing on first. Top mount. Okay, so that will lower down when you put the pressure on. Let's see how pokey they are. Ooh, yes, pokey enough. Happy days. Now, new nut supplied. The sun is absolutely burnt. Well, cloud has literally just come over as I said that. And it is red hot in this doorway. Oh man, that is a tool and a half. Anyway, the spring is rattly because we've got it on the lowest setting. It's pretty normal. Obviously, if you have your suspension higher, the spring's going to be tight. That is locked off, everything's on there, I'm happy. Now, I fitted new top mounts literally 2 weeks ago. Everything drove nice, but there was a slight bit of creaking. And with the old top mounts, it didn't creak. I did buy decent top mounts, but I'm just going to put a wipe of rubber grease around this, just to mask the problem, because we want it to stop creaking for at least 5 minutes. Fronts are done, and I've already seen how low it is. Now, if you have a T5 with air ride, you're going to laugh like, that ain't low. I take out my seals every time I drive down the street. Obviously it's not that low, but it's a lot lower than what it was. We had 50mm shocks and springs before, and it's dropped, I tell you. But I won't ruin the surprise, the sausage surprise. We're straight onto the backs. I did plan on doing a time lapse for this, but it's so simple. So simple. We've got an 18mm bolt on the top of the shock, and we have got a 21 on the bottom, wherever it be hiding. Simply remove bolt. Duh. He says, let's take the top one out. I've already undone it, weren't loose. And now we should be able to get the bottom one. That is literally, we've got spiders everywhere, money spiders. Why are they called money spiders? Get your dough out. Shocks out as quick as that, literally. If you've got standard springs, you might need to get a scaff bar, big lever bar, to lever down the rear arm assembly. I've already got lowering springs, so I should be able to get mine out rather quickly. Oh, I need that. So I'll quickly show you one. Now, oh, that's tight. I've got some polyurethane Dewberry Firkins on the back here that are stuck. Oh no, it's happening. It's just rubbers that go under the springs. Ease off, ease out the way. Now with this kit, where's that gone? There's one round there. Let me go nick that sides. I literally just had it. Literally, unless both around here. Yes, both around here. Silly sausage. With this kit, we just have a little thin rubber spacer. I'm guessing that goes on there, or is it going to go under the spring? Does this fit on here? So that fits on there. Does that go under there or under the spring? I'm going to blow all the dirt and debris out. See, I can see that walking out, if you ask me. How does it fit on top here? It does fit, but it's slightly stretched. If you are a coilover specialist, let me know where that rubber should go. I'm going to stick it on top there, but it might go underneath. Again, if you're a coilover specialist, let me know where you think I should put that rubber. I'm putting mine there for now. I am going to use this original plate squishy thing. Some of you guys that want ultra lows might leave that out. Let me know again in the comments. That does fit in there. This might be a bit of a squeeze. Oh, I've also got a washer. What's that for? Let me know. There'll be the correct orientation to doing this. Ooh, a second pair of hands might help. I'm wondering if I leave that rubber plate thingy-majig out. But I do like the thought of rubber being there to take some of the road noise away. Because with all this together, the spring is about the same height. Let me work out how I'm going to do this and we'll have a look. I did do it the way I said. I left the rubber original thing on top of the spring. We've got the little rubber washer underneath the bottom of the spring. We've got it set to low. We've done the shock up, and I can tell you now it is tucked up in the wheel arch. So I'll do the other side. We'll drop it down and we'll see what it looks like. My dark side developments exhaust is very nice. It is shiny. If you didn't see that video, check out the last video. Suspension's all fitted and I'm just having a little minute. It is Sunday today. The sun's gone in a little bit. Suspension's all done. Done the rear. I lowered it back down and the back was quite high. I did mention in the shop that there wasn't much difference in the spring height. So I left those out. Well, I lowered it down, saw it was too high, jacked it back up, undone the bottom shock absorber bolt and slid those out. And the rubber washer that I put on there, that's now under the spring. Lowered it back down and it's low. We're going to get it outside and have a look to see how low it is. If it's too low, I might put these back in underneath and that's going to raise it up 15 mil. Because I do like a van or a car to have a slight bit of rake, i.e. the back is ever so slightly higher than the front. I like that look. But I don't know at the minute, need to get it out. Just one thing, check out my solar panel. Check out how much bird crap is on my solar panel. Bird's nest right there, and they don't approve of the light reflecting. I've got a couple of scooter batteries, mobility scooter batteries in there. Powered by the solar panel. I charge all my drill batteries, phone batteries, everything battery related from the sun. It's brilliant. But I don't think the birds approve. Let's get the van out. We're done and I'm extremely pleased with how low it is. It's sitting level. I did mention a bit earlier that we like the back end a bit higher, you know, the rake look, but it sat absolutely square, the sill to the floor. It looks even. It is a bit more tucked over the rear arch, but that's the design of the van. It's designed to be ever so slightly higher at the back. Because if you wanted the tyres to look even to the arches, either the back needs to go up or the front needs to come down, but it is level to the floor. Really happy actually, it looks good. What I might do, I'm going to drive it for a couple of days. We're done with playing nuts and bolts on this Sunday. I'm going to drive it for a couple of days and I might add those orange polyurethane bits we saw earlier underneath the back of the springs, and that will just give it a 10-15 mil raise. Yeah, if you want it even lower, the backs, you can't do much about it, but the fronts, if you like the tucked look on the back and you wanted the fronts to be a little bit more tucked, there is a mod you can do to the front of the hubs. In the bottom of the hub where the shock sits, rather than the hub fadonk sliding down and hitting it, you can grind out that and you can slide the shock in a bit further. The only reason why I haven't done that, I'm not too keen on cutting the bracket that holds the hose and the ABS sensor off. Leave it out. And then you have to re-weld that bracket back on or Jubilee clip it. But if you're going to weld it, you're welding high pressure shocks, and that might not go down too well. So I haven't done that. If you want to do that, there is other people that have done it on YouTube. Just type in T5 front hub mod and someone else will do it. But yeah, happy days. We're going to take it out for a test drive. Hopefully it's not too firm and bouncy. I was happy with the Caddy ride quality, so we're going to see how the T5 is. I haven't driven it yet. I've driven it out the workshop. That's it. So it is a test for both of us, live. Big shout out again to maxpeedingrods for supporting the channel. Have a look at their website. I'll put a link to their website in the video description. I'll also put a link to the shock absorbers or suspension kit used today in the video description. Anything on their site, punch in the code DTETV, you get a 10% discount. Big shout out to maxpeedingrods. I am just going past another T5 transporter. It's a friend of mine. I think the bottom half is a similar colour, Indian grey. You might see it right about there. I did park it next to it. So he's on standard suspension, just with the Swamper look wheels. I parked it next to it, got a little shot, and you can see that mine is definitely quite a bit lower. And it was on 50mm shocks and springs before. If you've gone from standard suspension to these, it's going to be like night and day, i.e. the drop. I'm on a very bumpy industrial estate. I can't really tell if it's noisier. I'll tell you what I can hear. My GPS aerial from the stereo has come unstuck and is now banging on the A-pillar, annoying me. If some of you keen-eared viewers, you would have spotted it, heard it. Is it bumpier? I don't know. I'm going slow up the estate. It takes a few days, I believe, to really get to know a difference. It might, there's a speed bump, didn't scrape. It might be a tiny bit stiffer. Is it ridiculous? Look, if you're going for lowness, you want your van lowered, you're gonna have to put up with lesser ride quality than standard. But is it obnoxious? I'm on a relatively level road now with potholes for days. Another T5. Loads of people queuing up at the tip. I'm on the road now, we're doing 26. Doesn't seem too bad. So we did just fit a couple of weeks ago new Bilstein front shocks. They're only the poor man's Bilsteins, and it did ride alright, but it was even firmer on those than standard shocks. First thoughts, feels good. It's not like I'm riding up the road and it's like this. It's not like that at all. You can feel the road, but it's not crashy. Just went down a drain. Let's go down another drain. I'm impressed. Feels stout. I'm going around the corner at 30 and it was a swoop of a corner. There's no body roll or anything. Feels good actually. So obviously there's really expensive kits you can buy, coilover kits, Bilstein this, Coney, whatever the other ones are that come with phone number, price tags on them. These are like less than 400 quid. They might even be less than 300 with the DTE TV product code. Product code? Code? Thank you, mate. giving way. So that was a fresh bit of road on a new estate. Now we're on old stuff. Let's give you a little flash. Go on, mate. Now we're on the average road. More potholes and stuff. It is not unpleasant at all. There's almost no difference from the cheap Bilsteins and springs. So if you've got shocks and springs and you're thinking, I want it a little lower, but I don't want to lose ride quality, I can barely notice any difference from shocks and springs to these coilovers. It is not unpleasant at all, and I'll tell you, yeah, really good actually. This video is for about a week from today for me, not for you. Now today is today for you. It gets a bit weird. What I'll do, I will add a little phrase now. So I'll drive it for a few days, and that is what I think about the suspension after a few days of getting used to it. Anyway, that's going to about do it for today. If you enjoyed the video, found it useful, mildly amusing, all the usual YouTube stuff, I do comment, I do reply to most comments, about 90% of them. Oh, just quickly before we go, if you guys join the Facebook page and send me a message, unfortunately the Facebook messages are lower down on the priority list to reply to. What do you mean by that? Well, the comments on Facebook, no, the comments on YouTube, I reply to them all because that helps the algorithm of YouTube promote my channel, helps the channel grow. So I reply to all of them. If you join the Facebook page and send me a message, that message is doing absolutely nothing towards the growth of the channel. So my priority is to reply to the YouTube comments before the Facebook comments. So if you've got something you want to say, something to ask, find a video, comment on it, and I will reply. Send a message to me at 1 AM, 2 AM on the Facebook message page. I'm not going to reply to you. Anyway, it's going to about do it for this one. I'll see you in the next one, guys. I'm out.